Because my 12th grade year, all the coaches from Lobos, Collarville, Bartlett, Houston, they all wanted me to go to their high school, especially Bartlett. Like I said, a lot of kids where we come from don't get to experience that.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to be there. And I got scouted a couple times over there. I got scouted by La Liga, some scouts from La Liga.
Welcome back to Life We Choose podcast. I'm Sergio Garcia, joined by one of my longest friends, Eduardo Guevara, who also plays for Delta State University. He's a college soccer player. Eduardo, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. Doing good. So tell me about the item you brought, man. What does it represent to you? And yeah, why'd you bring it?
So this item means a lot to me. I don't know if y'all can see it. It's a Rush Select jersey. The ones that don't know, I played for Lobos Rush. You've also played for it.
Yeah.
And it's an organization, youth organization club that is around the country, around the states, probably like Tennessee, Mississippi, Arizona, Colorado, around the cities. And Rush Select is probably like the most biggest youth organization that it can have, and basically it picks up the best players in the region. So like for instance, the region of us, Tennessee, Mississippi. And it's like a 14, 15-man roster. And it was hosted in Arizona. And you basically play against people from Europe, teams from Europe.
Like tournaments.
Yeah. The best teams in the States. And it was probably one of the biggest accomplishments that I have besides going to college. And it's very, people like us or like me or like you that come from the city don't really see those opportunities.
Yeah.
So it was probably one of the biggest accomplishments that I've had in my soccer journey, whatever you want to call it.
Playing for them. Okay. Just wanted to give a quick thank you to today's sponsor, the Sharp Society Barbershop, which is located in the Bartlett area. To all my guys who want a good, clean cut, y'all should definitely hit them up. They speak both English and Spanish, so you don't got to worry about that. Thank you to the sponsor. Now let's get back to the episode.
Yes.
That's dope, man. Thank you for bringing that in. I really appreciate
Yes,
that. So let me get started with maybe how you started playing soccer. So tell me about the first days, maybe when you were like a little kid. What got you into soccer, man?
So like my older brother, we were 12, 11 years apart. So he was always right there. He was always teaching me. But I would say probably the age of 4, probably around there, it was a spot. I don't know if you ever played there, but I know like guys like Ociel and Carlo used to play there. I forgot the name of it. Basically, my uncle was like, "Hey, do you want to?" Because he had a son.
Yeah.
And my cousin was a lot older than me, so he was playing at the time. He was like, "Hey, do you want to come? See your cousin play?" I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm down." And then I went. I was just there kicking the ball around, just watching him. And then my brother played there too, and we'll go watch him sometimes. And then the next week, my uncle was like, he had asked my dad. He was like, "Can I take Eduardo to go play?" He was like, "Yeah, for sure. Go take him." And then I remember my jersey was laid out, the socks, the shirt, the shorts. And then that was my first time playing people my age, like kids my age.
Yeah.
So then I remember just running around, not knowing what to do. There's a picture of me. I'm like, I'm a little witty, I'm a little light tone.
Yeah.
So my face all red. I'm huffing and puffing. And that's where I basically started playing. So that's where I started playing.
How old were you at that time?
I want to say like 5, 4, around there. It was young. And I remember at the time, Carlos, I didn't know he was playing with my team.
Yeah.
And then later on, we started playing indoor. I was like, he looks familiar. And he posted something on his Snapchat story. And it was a picture of us. And I'm in the corner. I'm like, hey, that's me in the corner.
Yeah.
So that was basically where I started playing.
Okay, bet. So you started playing at a very young age, like 5 years old. I guess you could say that you were just like playing around with friends and, just getting to know the sport and seeing if you liked it or not.
Yeah.
Maybe tell me a little bit more about when you grew up a little bit more, like around maybe like the 10-year-old age. I know that you used to play at Mercadito, which is like a Mexican mall. So tell me about those days when you first started playing at Mercadito and like Tigres, which is like the club that we used to play for there at Mercadito. Tell me about those days.
So the FC Tigres was my first official team. I don't know if that was your official team too.
Yeah.
That was. How it started, how my first game started, I don't know. I can completely forgot how it was, but I do remember my mom at the time. She was at the she was where the stores were at with her best friend. And then she was just shopping, whatever. Us, we're not going to the stores. We're going to the soccer field, the little turf field. So it was me and my friend who were just playing around. And my mom, she's coming. We're about to go. It wasn't Victor, and it wasn't Jonathan. It was like the other guy that was kind of like I guess the owner of it. I forgot what his name was.
Was it Don Juan?
I think it was Don Juan,
Yeah.
something like that. He went up to my mom and was like, "Hey, is your kid interested in playing this and that?" And my mom was like, "Oh, well, I don't know. We really haven't really. He doesn't really play like." And then I don't know how it happened, but then later that week, I just started playing with FC Tigres. And like FC Tigres, I would say, like going into Lobos, FC Tigres was probably more of it was fun to play around because just the sidelines, the parents screaming at you, just the environment. It was just so amazing. And I really wouldn't compare it to Lobos just because it was more of people coming from that environment, people coming from that city. And that's basically where I started with FC Tigres. And from then I went to Lobos. So
Yeah. So a little bit more about FC Tigres. It was kind of like a club where everybody met at like the Mexican Mall. That's kind of like where we trained for a little bit, and then sometimes we would train outside in like outdoor fields. And it was like a bunch of Mexican kids, just getting together, like you said. So yeah, that was pretty good. And then also tell me maybe about the tournaments because we played at Mike Rose.
Yes.
Tell me about those tournaments. What were they like for you?
So they were fun. They were extremely fun. I think the most consistent tournament we'll go was in Jackson, playing in Jackson Wolves.
Yeah.
And I remember our coach at the time, Jonathan, and also Victor. I remember I don't know if you remember, but he made us have classes. Like we used to have classes. I don't know if you were.
Yeah, I do remember.
We used to have
those.
classes.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, we're like 9 years old. He used to make us bring our notebooks, our pencils, and then we used to have a little lesson. I'm like, okay. I know those tournaments were fun. We would go around. I don't know if we ever went to Alabama, but I would say this: if we would have kept that team, we would have probably been bigger than Lobos and Germantown Legends. But no, those tournaments were fun. It was more of just playing with each other, just having fun, and just goofing off, and just not knowing what the next game is. Just playing.
Just playing, yeah.
Just playing. And this guy right here, every time we'll get scored on, he'll get the ball from the net. He'll put it on half field. And the first time he did this, I was confused. I'm like, what is he doing? He waits till the referee blows his whistle. And then he kicks it and it just goes in. And then later on, he kept doing it, and it was just something normal that you were just doing. Yeah. So don't let this guy fool you. He was cold back then.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah. I remember I was like, fuck it, man. I'm just going to try it. I'm going to see if it goes in. And thankfully it did. But yeah, those were fun days, man. I remember those classes too. I remember one time we watched, it was Barcelona versus Manchester United. It was a Champions League final. And he made us take notes about all those things.
It was so like, I remember at the time I didn't know what to do. I was just writing stuff down. And then Ociel's older sister, Sara, she would just help me write down. I remember, because we didn't have a printer at home. So then whenever we needed to print something out, I'll just go to his house. I don't know why he did those classes, but it was fun though. Yeah, it was a little memory, a little core memory that keeps that I keep in. But
yeah, that was like one of the first times that we were watching film and actually taking notes, and we didn't even know we were doing that.
I didn't even know how to fucking play soccer. Wait, can I curse?
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't really take it serious. So like me writing notes down, I just was drawing. I wasn't really taking notes, but yeah,
you just drawing. Okay. So after Tigres, I remember one of the heartbreaking moments was like Eduardo left, man. Eduardo went to play for Lobos. Tell me about Lobos. I mean, I know that you talked about it a little bit. Tell me a little bit more about how you felt when you first joined, and what were those first moments like with them?
So the funny part about me leaving Lobos was I was the first one to leave FC Tigres. And then after that, I think you left, and then Lee left, and then just the whole thing just went down. I'm not gonna say I don't think it was because of me, but
no, yeah.
And then everybody started leaving. And then Lobos, I started playing at DeSoto, like the Mississippi side of Lobos. And there I played for his name was Coach Valente, and I played there for probably like 2 years. And then I remember I guest played. Everybody had their own jersey, and I had a different jersey just because I I joined a little later. And then I don't know, it was just more of a it was a better environment, better players, better, everything is I just joined it. And then I remember going into that when I started growing up more and going into middle school, I had joined the Lobos for Collarville. And then the funny thing about it is I've always wanted to be a goalie. I don't know. I remember FC Theaters. There's probably some pictures there, but I always wanted to be a goalie. I had wallpapers in my phone. And my first tryout for Collarville was to be a goalie. And normally, I'm on the field, whatever. But my parents didn't know that I signed up to be a goalie. So then when my mom and my dad saw me in the goal, I'm like, nah, what is this guy doing? So then I got accepted in the team by a goalie to be a goalie, to play as a goalie. And then my parents were like, what are you doing? Like, you don't need to be a goalie. Like, you got too much potential not to be a, player. And then after that, my mom reached out to my coach and was like, hey, sorry, he's not playing goalie. He's going to be playing on the field. And I was devastated. Because I enjoyed playing goalie. But there would be times, whenever a goalie get hurt, I'll play goalie. But after that, then we had another coach. And then one made it to two, and then three. And then my senior year, Carlos Rivera was my senior year coach. And he's probably the reason why I continued playing soccer. Because after 11th grade year, I didn't really care about playing soccer.
Yeah.
And I took it more serious my 12th grade year because of him. He actually helped me get into the Rush Select stuff because he was the coach that year. So he took me. And then that's where I took it more serious because everybody was committed, but I just didn't know where to go. Like, it was getting late. The season ends like in May, and then then that's when high school season starts. So I was all over the place, but Lobos really did help me a lot. It helped me where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And just the memories, tournaments, the guys, and just yeah.
Gotcha. Do you have a memorable tournament that you've played in for Lobos?
I wouldn't say a memorable. It was more of a, I guess all of them were just memorable just because a lot of people say it. But it's true, create memories while you're playing with your club, because later on when you see those photos, those videos back, bring back those type of memories.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have a memorable one. I mean, they were all good memories. They were all good tournaments, all good players. But yeah, I really can't think of one.
Gotcha. Now maybe tell me a moment where you felt like you were in a place where you were learning the game a bit deeper than just, when you were a kid, you were just playing soccer. You didn't really know what every position did in the field. So maybe tell me like a moment where you're like, okay, now I'm getting to understand all these positions, and these are some strategies that some teams use and things like that, when it got deeper for you.
So it was probably heading into 12th grade, but mid 11th grade year, my dad and my brother were always telling me, he said, read the game while you're playing it. He would tell me, like, read your player while you're guarding them, read the play, because I'm more of a, back then I used to just play reckless. I used to just play, didn't care about what happened, but now it's more, more IQ. You got to start thinking about what you got to do next, or what you got to do to help the team, or just being a leader. And then going into 12th grade year, I started communicating more. I started getting out my shell, having more confidence. And it was more of you have to lead your team while things are going bad. Because if you don't, then you'll start putting yourself down, and then everything will go to the shit show. So I would say going into 12th grade year, just because you're a little bit more mature, you're a little bit more grown up, you've seen, and it kind of helps whenever you go travel or go play with teams or go to camps or play with other people that are on your level, because then you understand the game more. Because if you just play around the same people that aren't as good in the type of level you are, then you're not going to progress.
Exactly.
So helping me playing, even because I will always play people my age, but then half of the time I always play people 2, 3 times my age, a little older. And that kind of helped me a lot too, just from having their advice, just telling me what to do, and I'm just listening. I'm not talking back. I'm like, okay, I got you. I'll do the next play. So that's what kind of helped me, just listening to the older people and just trying to make it my own.
Gotcha. Something for me, I don't know if you've experienced this. So when I played club soccer and then I went to high school and I started playing for my high school as well, something that I noticed is like when you play against club players or when you're in a club, you feel like you kind of understand the game a little bit better and
Yeah.
you play a little bit better than maybe people that you're playing against. So what was that like for you when you went to high school and you had that club knowledge to play for your high school and help them out?
It was an advantage just because the kids from the high school team just play for fun. They only got like 3 years of experience, and you have your whole life. So having that, it helped a lot. Just because it'll help you, and it help you help them. So
Mm-hmm.
and then basically even your coach used to play whatever, but sometimes he'll let you not deal with it. He'll just let you ride. Like he'll let you handle it yourself.
Yeah.
And it helped a lot just because, like I said, having that type of level, being with those type of players, being with that type of environment, it helps you a lot. So basically, and I would just say, it's little details. There's little details about position and passing, and just talking to them with respect, because you don't want to go in having an ego and then just screaming at them, because then they're not gonna listen and they won't like you.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be more understanding that their experience is a little more different than you. That you played it more, they played it less. So it's more of understanding where they came from, how they come from, and how they play. And also just having that type of IQ and just leading them, and just showing them the little bits of pieces. So yeah,
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. And what high school did you play for again?
I played for Southwind.
For Southwind. For Southwind. Gotcha. So to the people in Memphis that know Southwind, part of Southwind, there you go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say regret. My brother told me whenever I was in 10th grade, he was like, "Hey, bro, you gotta get out of Southwind. Like, it ain't nothing over there." But I got too comfortable. I got too comfortable with the people, the friends, whatever. Cause my 12th grade year, all the coaches from Lobos, Collarville, Bartlett, Houston, they all wanted me to go to their high school.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Bartlett. The Bartlett coach, Brandon Carter, at the time, well, not at the time, he's still coach. He said, "Man, I'll give you my address. Like, this, come play with us. We'll win the state. This and that." And I was like, "I'll think about it." But I was just too comfortable where I was at, and I wouldn't say that's it's a kind of a regret, but everybody's path is a little different.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and I went to Southwind. Southwind only cared about football and basketball.
For real, man. I feel you.
Like even East High School.
East High School, yeah. East High School really cares about like basketball. You talk about James Wiseman, Malcolm Dandridge, who plays for the University of Memphis right now. So these are all really good players, but at the same time, we played soccer, man.
Yeah, they didn't really care about our program, but
yeah, I get you, man. But yeah, when you talk about those high school teams like Bartlett, Collarville, Germantown, those are all big teams that like you kind of either you want to play for them or you really want to play against them just because you're competitive. So I get you on that. So that's good. So tell me maybe let's talk about club again, and tell me about how you went to nationals, because being in that national tournament is like a dream for club players.
So I think it was regionals.
You went to regional. Okay,
It was regionals, and it was a completely different experience.
Mm-hmm.
It was hosted in Orlando
Mm-hmm.
at the ESPN Center, Worldwide Center, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing just because, like I said, a lot of kids where we come from don't get to experience that.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to be there, and I got scouted a couple times over there. I got scouted by La Liga, some scouts from La Liga, and then I got some college coaches too. But like we had credentials, like we had like to get in, you had to like swipe a card, go in. Like it was completely different from that I expected.
Yeah.
But the environment was amazing, the weather was amazing. Like I said, it was Orlando, and it was like at the time, I don't know if you know it's like the big ESPN Worldwide Center, like a big the little big
for
little
sports,
circle,
yeah,
like cheerleading, sports, soccer, football, that type of stuff. And it was just amazing just because it was one in a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Like it was the competition, the coaches just watching you and just having fun. So, and like I said, I did get recruited a couple times over there, but the experience was amazing. It was surreal just because, like I said, I didn't expect myself to be in that position. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it was an amazing feeling.
Gotcha. How many games did you have there?
I think we had about, I want to say probably 5 or 4.
5 or 4. Okay. How did they go?
Uh, I want to say we won about 2 and like draw and then lost a couple.
Yeah.
But like I said, the competition was there. It was a
Mm.
lot of good teams. And then we also had these regionals in Louisiana, and that's where I kind of got scouted by my coach.
Mm-hmm.
That's right in Delta State.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Okay, there. Okay. So tell me about that process. How did he see you, and what was that
So
conversation like?
it was more of because I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't know where I was going. Like I said, I didn't contact coaches. I didn't go to camps, and we went. And then my teammate, he's at Delta State now. His mom, her older son, played at Delta, and she knew that I was struggling trying to find somewhere to go. I could have chosen the JUCO route, but like I said, I didn't really plan on playing college soccer. It just happened, and she kind of gave me a little advantage just because she knew the coach, and she was like, "Hey, I got this really good kid. You should look at him. This, and that. His name's Eduardo Guevara. He doesn't have nowhere to go. He's a really good player. You should check him out." And then my coach was like, "Yeah, no, I got you. I'll be there for the weekend." And then I remember in the sideline that game, I seen him. And then I was like, okay, he's here. And then after the game, I kind of said what's up to him. And that was my first time like meeting him. So yeah.
Nice. So you got to Delta State. Tell me about that experience, man. Because playing at the college level to me is like something different.
It's a lot different. Like the level. I wouldn't say it's a hard transition. Like once you like coming out of high school, and if I'm not gonna say, I'm not trying to sound like, but like if you got that type of skill and you got that type of level to play at that college level, you'll be fine to transition. The transition was amazing. The guys were amazing. They were welcoming. Like I said, I wasn't planning on going to college. I wasn't planning on playing. It just happened. And because my brother was like, "You're not gonna be a bum if you don't like after high school, after graduation." He was like, "What you want to do?" I was like, "I don't know yet, but I want to play some type of sport or soccer, whatever." Because I was at football and soccer, kicker and then soccer. And then he was like, "You're not gonna be a bum." He said, "You're either gonna get a job or I'm gonna put you at MLGW, the Memphis Last Guy in Water."
Yeah.
And then the recruiting process, I got recruited so late. I got recruited in July, and that's the ones that know about college and stuff. That's super late. The season starts in August,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm in July. So then I remember the recruitment process was like 3 different ways. The first one was when he saw me in Louisiana. The second one was at a camp, at the Memphis camp. And a lot of people don't know, but Memphis were interested, but they just knew of me too late. Like they didn't know of me during high school just because I went to Southwind. And my club team wasn't as popular as all the youth groups. So I was this close, but they were too late when I was already building a relationship with my coach. And how it happened was the second time I saw him was I went to that camp in Memphis, and basically it's a 2-day camp. The first day is just so coaches can see you. So they make like 7 teams, and they make like a little 7v7 tournament, and they just just scramble you within position. Like if you're a defender, you go over here, and then they'll mix it up. And then I'm getting to know all the guys we're playing, and then it's a whole day of just playing, and it's hot. And I remember there was a tournament, a little 7v7 tournament. And I don't know if we won or we lost it. Either we came first or second, whatever. And the next day shows up, and then now it's 7 teams that they make up. There's the best team, like the first team, and then the not so good team, the last team.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, I made the first team. I made the first team.
Yeah.
And that was probably the best team I've ever played with. We had so many, prospects playing with us, and it was just like I was excited just because the people were in my level, and it was just extremely, excited just to play with them. So then, boom, we're playing teams, and then we played the men's Memphis team, and that was also a good experience. and then boom, and then we play another team, and then I make a play, and then we score, and then one of my coach, he was like, hey, the assistant coach from Memphis wants to talk to you. I was like, okay, cool. So I go over there. He said, what's your name? I was like, my name is Eduardo Guevara. How you doing? And then he was like, where you from? I was like, I'm from here. He was like, where? I was like, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I was born and raised here.
Mm.
He's looking through his sheet because he has a sheet where he has his main players, like the
Yeah.
people that are coming in. He wants to see. When he's going through, he's like, you were never on my roster. You were never on my radar.
Yeah.
I was like, he said, what school you go to? I was like, Southland. And then he was like, okay. He was like, what club you play for? Because it was Germantown Legends or Lobos. I was like, I play for Lobos. And I was like, yeah. He was like, you were never in my. He low key looked upset because he didn't know who I was. He was like, yeah, I play for Lobos and I play for Southland. I was born and raised here. He was like, man, he looked disappointed. He was like, man, like we need to get you somewhere. I can see you playing here a couple years, blah blah whatever. He was like, do you got anywhere to go? I was like, no, I don't. I don't have nowhere to go, but I'm talking to Delta State. And the thing that I didn't know, so the assistant coach went to my coach now and was like, hey, I got this really good kid. You should pick him up. And then my coach was like, who is it? And then he was like, he's a kid named Eduardo Guevara. You know, he was born and raised here. He's this and that. And my coach started laughing. And then the assistant was like, why you laughing? He was like, it's funny because I'm about to pick that kid up. I'm about to pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it kind of got more serious. And I didn't see my coach until like towards the end of the camp. And oh, coach, nice to meet you again. I'm Eduardo. He's like, yeah, I know who you are. This and that.
Mm-hmm.
And then a month later, not a month later, like a few weeks later, then I got committed. And then I committed to he had called me. He's like, hey, I'm extremely to tell you this, man. I'm looking forward to coming to Delta State. And then the third one was we were at the dorm, and he was helping me, and then my mom, my auntie were there, unpacking whatever. And then he brings me to the side. He's like, hey, can I talk to you? I was like, yeah, go ahead. He was like, you got to meet my brother. And I was like, why I got to meet your brother? He was like, because he's the reason why you're here. And I'm like, what you mean? He was like, I was undecisive. I wasn't trying to add another player to the roster. But whenever those type of scenarios or whenever I need advice, I go to my brother.
Yeah.
And he called his brother. He was like, hey, I got this really good kid. I don't know if I should pick him up. I'm not really looking for another player. And then his brother was like, just give him a second chance. Give him one more chance. And then my coach was like, okay. So then that's how the official was. I got recruited by his brother. But yeah, like he called his brother. He was like, I don't know if I should have this other kid and this and that. Like it's super duper late.
Yeah.
He was like, no, give him a second chance. Go ahead. And after that, I kind of went off my freshman year. Started 10 games out of 14. Had like 800 minutes under my name, and it's a big deal for a freshman. A lot of freshmen don't play like that, but that's how I got recruited.
That's a big deal, man. That's why I had to have you on the podcast.
That's how I got recruited. It was, everything just happened for a reason. So.
Yeah, absolutely, man. An interesting story that I've always wondered, like, how did Eduardo get there? So thank you for sharing that, man. And tell me maybe about the college experience, what it's like for training. Maybe like what's your day like? You got classes and maybe you got other things to do for the team.
So right now we report back August 13th, something like that, and I think we got a camp the 9th. I think I got to go to help them out. But our report day, you got to report that day, and I think we'll have a meeting or so just to know the guys, whatever, or just help people move in. And whenever that happens, let's say like a week later happens, we have to do a yo-yo. So like our coach just told us, he said, you got to come back at least 85 or 90% fit. Because, we come back the 13th and we got like a game within 2 weeks. We're going to go to Austin, Austin, Texas. And then basically you got to get fit now. Like you got to start running, working out, doing that type of stuff. And then we'll train for like before school starts, we'll train consistently at least. But there's a rule where you can't really train for a good minute before school starts. So when school starts, our coach always said, fix your schedule and try to not have classes after 1 p.m. So our schedule would be having practice at 3:45, and then either weight room before or after. So then, and then games, we'll either have games on, we'll have one on Sunday, I think, or on Thursday. I forgot how the schedule is. I'm so bad with my schedule. um, but no, just training. I would say this, the first trainings that I did have as a freshman, they were a little rough just because, I'm new. I'm trying to, fit in, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And the first training the first week, you got to settle in. Then you should like catch the rhythm. You should catch the little routine, and you'll be fine. And like I said, I was a freshman at that time, and I just didn't know what to do. Cause I'm first generation. My brother didn't go to college, parents, so everything's new to me.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like reach out to any of my friends that played in college. I just went with it.
Mm-hmm.
So everything was new. I had to learn while I was
Going
through it.
Mm-hmm.
And like now, when the freshmen come in, whatever, I try to give my best advice. I try to help them out just because I wanted somebody to do that for me. So, like I said, the college experience is amazing. It's fun, like having people around you each and every day. Suffering together.
Yeah.
We also we have two seasons in the fall, and then in the spring. The spring we call it hell week, where we just do a whole bunch of BS that we just don't need to do. And it just early in the morning, the grind up early in the morning, 6 in the morning, doing all sorts of things, training, and then later on working out. But yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's how it is. Okay.
How it is.
Cool. Maybe tell me, I want to ask you like an overall question. So tell me maybe about a tournament that you still remember to this day. It could be with Delta State, Lobos, Tigre, anything that's just so memorable to you that you can't forget about.
Good question. Besides college, because we did have a tournament in college. It's like there's a big tournament in college. I mean, I'll speak on that just because it was a big moment. As a freshman, I was planning somewhat of it. So we didn't really have a good start to the season. We had a new team, brand new team. It was probably like 12, 14 of us coming in. And prior to the season, they didn't really do good that last season. So then this season, we new coach, new players, new everything. And then we started losing. We didn't really have a good record. And then we picked it up mid-season. Like towards the end, we kind of went on a 6-win streak.
Yeah.
And then I remember this. It was the finals, the GSC finals, like the big stage. Where everything, all your hard work.
Mm-hmm.
So one of our guys went down, the center backs. He was a senior. He was Italian.
Yeah.
He was from Italy, and he got hurt. Apparently, he got hurt. And then it was early in the game. It was probably like in the 20th minute or 30th. And then I went in, and I'm all scared. I'm all like I'm shitting bricks. Like it's the GSC finals. I'm playing as a freshman, and then boom, second half starts. First half I did okay. I was a little nervous, but I did what I had to do. Second half came in. I remember this ball went over my head. Well, both of the attacker and me. And I kind of got him a little bit. So I got a yellow card. I'm like, okay, whatever. So then now they score another one. So then now it's like I got left by myself. And it's like a 2v1, 1v1.
Mm.
And I'm the last one. So I'm coming, the guy's coming. And then like he kind of like drags the ball a little bit more ahead of him. And I kind of get the ball and I kind of get him.
Yeah.
But he kind of like over exaggerated it. So then he went down and I get a red card. I was like, bro, there's no way I got a red card. Like it's the final, this and that. And I remember I went to the bench. I sat down. I was like, God damn. And I thought my coach was going to be pissed at me. And then after the game, my coach was like, no, you good, bro. It happens, this and that. And that was probably like a memorable. And I had my whole family was watching the game, like on TV and stuff.
Yeah.
And whenever my name was getting brought up, Eduardo's playing. Yeah, that was probably a memorable moment.
A big moment for sure.
It was a big moment.
Yeah.
And I got a red card.
So I'm sure you kind of learned a little bit after that, to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, like it wasn't reckless. It was just, he kind of like sold it. So
Oh,
he sold it,
okay.
and that's how
Yeah.
I got a red card. Like, there's a picture of me like doing this, but
Yeah, got you. So maybe so I kind of want to get to know a moment where you felt like, this is like a life-changing moment for me. Or maybe it was going to Lobos, maybe it was taking the decision to stay at Southwind. Like, what was a moment for you that you're like, like, okay, if I didn't make this decision, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at.
um, I would say it was a little opposite. If I would have gone out of if I would have left Southwind and gone to like Bartlett area, I would have probably been story would probably been a little bit different, but I would have had a lot more opportunity. I would have had a lot of more exposure. But I would say, like I said, everything happens for a reason, and I feel like everything that I did, everything that happened, was probably the best decision, if I could say that. But I will switch it around. I will say the opposite. If I would have went to another school that kind of prioritized soccer more than just football and basketball, it would have probably been a lot more successful, a lot more exposure, a lot of more. Like I said, that Memphis coach didn't know who I was until that camp,
Yeah.
and like I didn't really go to camps. I didn't really talk to coaches. I didn't really email coaches. I didn't really call them. I didn't text them. So there's a lot of things that I would have done different. And there's a lot of things that I tell people coming into college, going out of high school. I'll be like, hey, do this and that, do this and that. Just because I was learning while I was doing it. Like I said, my brother didn't go through that phase. So I had to like kind of teach myself how to do it.
Yeah.
So I would say I'll reverse that question and just say that is the regret, not a regret, but just going to a different high school and just getting myself out there, putting my name out there. So
Gotcha. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you a little story about one of my club days. So I played for this team called Memphis FC, and we had a tournament. It was like my first year joining the team, and I'm like looking forward to playing for them and trying to understand what club soccer is like outside of Lobos, because I played for Tigres, Lobos, and then I went to Memphis. So we went to Atlanta and we played against Atlanta United, like the MLS team. We played against their U14, and it was like my first game with them. Like, this is my first game ever with Memphis. And I go in the pitch and I'm playing pretty well. Then there comes this moment where I get the ball, like the keeper is giving it to me, and then I turn, and then like I feel like I got like Zidane headbutted or something like that. I got taken down and I was out. That was like one of my biggest moments, like playing against Atlanta United, because I've never played against a big club like that before. Do you feel like you've had a team like that where you're just like, I'm really playing against this team right now, I can't believe it?
yeah, now you're saying that, like there's sometimes where I just forget about things, but we played against Orlando whenever we went to Florida Orlando for the ESPN stuff. We played Orlando. You know, when you go against those teams before it starts, like, oh crap, like they're gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
But like nowadays, it's more of money and you play. Like you play just because you got the money, and then you play for like a academy.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, our players are just home base players, from the city, just playing whatever. And we won 3-1. And then that was probably like a moment where, like, okay, the name doesn't mean nothing at all. So like playing against that Orlando team, it was more of okay, I can handle this type of level. I can play against that good competition. But yeah,
Against them. Okay,
it was
gotcha.
against them.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that was one of your most hard fought victories, or what do you think was one of the most hard fought victories that you've had?
I wouldn't say hard fought, just because we kind of won over the edge like 3-1. But there was this one team. They were called, I think, Madison, and those guys were good. I'm talking about, boy, they were good. Even though we lost, that was probably the most hard fought game that I've ever played. Just leaving everything on the field was probably just the most. That was probably the best team I ever played, and I think they were like up there in like New Jersey, New York, somewhere around there. And that was probably the best team I ever played with or played against. Because like I said, I had no more energy. I had no more everything. I left everything on the field, and I was completely exhausted. So,
gotcha. Yeah. Tell me about nowadays when you get ready for a game. What are some things that you have to mentally tell yourself before you go into a game?
I still get nervous. I still have a little butterflies, but just having good energy in the locker room. We blast music, try to get the nerves out. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I still get nervous, before games. Like, it's completely normal. But going into that bus ride, or let's say we're not home. Let's say we're in away. We'll leave the locker room and then we'll go to that bus ride, and I'll just have music playing. It can be all sorts of music, and I'll just try to lock in. And then whenever we start playing, whenever we start training, not trying to warming up, sometimes it's good to talk to yourself. Like having that little head in that little voice in your head. It's good to talk to him a little bit. Like, Eduardo, okay, lock in, this and that. But I would say just having good energy around the guys, around the locker room, it'll help more get the nerves out for you to get prepared for the game. So
things like that. Okay.
Yeah.
And you've had 1 or 2 years at Delta State.
2. This is gonna be my 3rd year. Going into my 3rd year.
Okay. What about your 2nd year? Tell me about that.
So last year, like I said, my freshman year, I played over 800 minutes. So I kind of started 10 games out of 14, and I was a freshman. And last season, we had one guy come in, and he already graduated, but he had still 1 more year to play. So it was more of understanding my role and understanding my situation more than just complaining why I'm not playing. I did play a decent amount, but not like I did my freshman year. But I was never going up to the coach, hey, coach, why I'm not playing this and that. Because there was a time where I asked the assistant, I was like, hey, I just want to know something. Like, the reason why I'm not playing, is it because of training or I'm not doing well? He was like, no, like you're doing amazing. You're doing well at training. You're probably doing a lot more things that a lot of more guys should be doing. But you're good. It's just more of we got guys coming in that are older and they have that type of experience, and that's why the reason that they're playing over you. And I was like, okay, I understand that. And he said, whenever we need you, just be ready. So like last season, we kind of had a shorter season. We kind of got eliminated the first round of the playoffs to an amazing goal by CBU. It was like we were going to penalties. It was like 10 seconds left, and there was a corner, and they rebounded, and it went top left. I'll probably show you the clip or something, but I played a decent amount, and it also kind of like gave me more motivation to like the next year. Okay, nobody's taking my spot next year. So it gave me more motivation just to keep grinding, just to keep playing, just keep doing what I'm doing. But yeah.
Speaking of that motivation, tell me about what you want the viewers to expect from you coming up next in these few seasons left.
So I got 2 more seasons left. I got 2 more at Delta State, whatever I do. I have a lot of motivation just to continue playing, being a leader. Those guys that are coming in, helping them, and just getting that dog out of me. Because, I still got that dog in me that I'm trying to reach. I'm still trying to find out who this Eduardo is to come out.
Mm-hmm.
But just know that I'm put all my 100% in, and just keep grinding, keep training, keep playing, and just trying to find the rhythm. And I'm expecting a lot. We got a new team coming in, new players, new transfers. And I'm excited, just having the guys around just gives me more motivation just to keep playing. I play for them. I also play for myself, but I play for them too. So I'm expecting a lot.
Gotcha. Cool. That's good to hear, man. I'm excited to see what you do. What position do you play for Delta State?
Right now I play center back.
Center back.
I've always played like CDM, center mid, but I play center back.
Center back. Okay, cool. Got you, bro. So like I said, I'm very proud of you, bro. You're a phenomenal player. Every time that I've played with you or against you, I'm like, this guy is great. So I've always wanted you on my team.
Yes.
Dude, you're phenomenal, man. I'm very excited to see what's coming up. So thank you for joining me on the podcast, man. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, man. We're coming with the heat. I'll see you guys on the next one.